Welcome to the PS Trax quick tutorial. Start by accessing the web link in the video description below. For your username, go ahead and enter your city email ending in miramarfd.org. Your temporary password is going to be 1234. I'd like to point out here, if you're a newer firefighter and this does not work for you, try making the email end in miramarfl.gov. But for most of us, it's going to be fd.org. Continue. 1234. Sign in. Here are all your menus, which we will be reviewing. And on the bottom left, under Settings, you can locate User Settings. And here you can choose a new password and also a PIN. That's what the screen looks like. And now we will review the rest of the software. You'll see your name listed above along with your home station.
Okay, this is going to be an explanation on how to do the PS Trax for regular medications, which would be the equivalent for MedTracker. So after you log in, you have two ways to access your drug box. You can either click here on Supplies, or you can go to the menu on the side and select Supplies and Perform Supplies Check. So you go ahead, click Perform Supplies Check. Here in this window, you will see on the right hand side, Open Alerts. Here you have Schedule Supply Checks, which we have set up for the last Sunday of the month for you to check your inventory to make sure that the expiration dates are within limit. If not, go ahead and expire them out. So in the morning, the officer would go ahead and they have three options. They have inventory count, transfer, and usage. These other options down here, it's because this is an admin profile, but for the officers online, it'd be inventory count, transfer, and usage. So let's go into inventory count. Make sure you're at the right station. We're gonna go ahead and do station 100. If you're a rescue lieutenant, go ahead and check rescue 100. For the captains, you would have your engine 100 and your cache 100 box. So let's pretend we're gonna do rescue 100 and begin check. So inventory count, you would be doing it as your morning checkout. This would allow you to see all the drugs in your drug box. It would allow you to see the quantity you have on hand in the box. It would also allow you to change expiration dates, update any quantities that they dropped off medications, or if you have any medications that are listed here but missing once you actually visualize your box. So in the morning, for the morning checkout, go ahead and up here on the left corner, you can go ahead and pick all of them here or here. Once you select all the medications, you can go inside the box. But before that, you can see that there are colors here. The colors indicate different things. So green means that you're at par, you have what you're supposed to have. If you see any color other than green, that means you're under your max amount. This one's under 4, so it turned clear. There are two other colors. If you're under your par, you're gonna be like a light pink red color. If you're at your minimum, you're gonna go ahead and see an orange color, which I'll show you next time. These little numbers next to the quantities are expiring or about to expire. It's hard to see, but this orange color here means about to expire 1 month out. If you see a red color number, it means it is expired. So this one says 3 out of 6 are about to expire, 1 out of 2 are about to expire. So it's just a quick way to look at your medications and if anything's expiring. All right, like I said, once you go ahead, you click here, you can go inside the box. And now all the medications are listed here with their expiration dates. Some medications have multiple vials with different expiration dates, which is fine. So for example, adenosine has 6 total units. 3 of the vials expire 2/28, 3 of the vials expire 7/31. So when you're doing your inventory check in the morning, If you notice that this expiration date was supposed to be 2/28/28 and not 27, you cannot edit the date. You have to remove it from the box, add unit, update the amount of the quantity, and now you can go ahead and adjust the correct date if that was the issue. But since that's not the issue, go ahead and you can always undo what you did, X out, and then unhighlight. Just make sure you're highlighting it. If you do notice that the box has expired medication, suppose this was 226 and you need to remove for the box, hit the expired button, and now that removes that quantity from the total number, and now it turns that peach color, which shows it that it's at its minimum. And now EMS Logistics will see that in their morning inventory check, and they will bring you 3 additional adenosines. Update the box if possible, but if not, they just drop off the medication for whatever reason. You can go ahead and hit add unit, update the amount that they brought you, input the new expiration date, and that's it. And then make sure you're picking the right date. Most important thing, once you do any of your updates regarding quantity or expiration dates, make sure you hit log items. That saves all your work. If you don't hit log items, it's not going to save anything and you have to start all over again. If for some reason you messed up or you forget what you were doing, you can always hit the back button and it won't save any of the changes you made. Okay, so the most important thing is to hit the log button. Okay, so we're going to go back. So that was inventory count in the morning. Next one is transfer. So the transfer is from one container to another container. It's not from person to person or officer to officer. Again, make sure you're at the right station. Container, this would most likely be used on the weekends. Say rescue was running a lot of calls, they ran out of a certain medication. Now we got to transfer it from cache to rescue container. Here you have the option to bring it from any box, but most likely you're going to bring it from your own station, so cache 100, and it only allows you to drop it into the boxes of the station you are currently in. So let's pick rescue 100, begin check. Suppose you use some adenosine, some D50, and let's just go with some ammo. You hit continue for the ones that you want to move from your cache box to your rescue box. And now here are your quantities and your counts. So on this side that highlights it, it shows you where it's going. So it's going to rescue 100, the source location where it's pulling it from, so cache 100. So for adenosine, these are the quantities inside the cache. And now we're gonna go ahead and put it into rescue 100. So cache 100, box 22 has 2 adenosines that expire in 1031. So if you want to select those 2 and transfer them over, you can. You can only give what you have, so you can't give any more than the 2. And as you can see here in the destination, it increases your quantity in the Rescue 100 box up by 2. The most important part here is to make sure that we are picking the right expiration date to move over. If you want to just move the one that's 7/31, you can only move one at a time. Again, once you're done and complete, make sure you hit log items. Since I don't want this to save, I can just hit the back button and it goes back. So that was the way you change it from cache to a rescue container, or cache to the engine. Or you can do engine to rescue, or rescue to engine, whatever you want. All right, last but not least is usage. This is if you use a medication on a call. So today's date, usage, drug box 19, rescue 100. It only lets you pick again the station you're in. Begin check. Again, just for example, I'm going to pick adenosine. Maybe I'll pick a couple of the first ones. You hit continue. And again, here it tells you the medication. Here it's going to show you the quantity you use. Adenosine has multiple vials, different expiration dates, so make sure you're picking the right expiration date. You need to put in an incident number. Notes, for example, could be the vial broke, or the patient, after you popped the seal, or whatever the reason was, they don't want it anymore. You can put notes here. But please make sure you're putting an incident number and you're picking the right one that you used for the call. You put the incident number here. And just to go back to the colors, so again, green means you're at par, you're at your max. If you use anything and you fall in between the max and the minimum, it doesn't highlight it at all. If you fall to your minimum, it turns this peach color. Now if you go below the minimum or 0, it turns this light red color right here. That's it. And then make sure you hit log items after you type in all your incident numbers. If you want to wait till the end of a couple of calls, or however you do it as an officer, you can do multiple incidents at a time. So this could be used for incident 1111, this one could be 2222, 3333, so you can do multiple incidents in one shot. That's if you choose to do that. Now you can do one incident at a time. We are now going to do the controlled substance check in PS Trax. This is how we're going to go ahead and do our narcotics exchange and also administration and documentation of broken vials. As stated before, it is important that everybody has a PIN, officers, drivers, firefighters, and once the person logs in using their fd.org email, is to go ahead and go to settings, user settings, and they change their PIN. Make sure you put in your new PIN, make sure it matches, hit save, and then hit save one more time and update your PIN. So we're going to go ahead and start. We're going to use station 19 as our example. Make sure you're at the right station up here on the upper left. You can always change the station. And we're going to do controlled substance. In Operative IQ, we are used to the outgoing officer logging in and transferring the narcotics to the oncoming officer. In PS Trax, it's going to be the oncoming officer logging into their PS Trax in order for them to go ahead and verify the narcotics count. Before we get started, on the right side, you're going to see a recent activity for the boxes. This gives you an overview of what's currently in the box, last checked. So the numbers you have to go ahead and verify are these down here. If you're looking at the Engine 19 box, you have 2 fentanyl, 2 ketamine, 3 Versed. The colors are for the expirations. Green means not expired. The yellow gold means 30 days out from expiring, and the red means they are expired. If you need further information on vial details, you go ahead and you click vial inventory, and it gives you the actual vial numbers, the lot, the expiration, concentration, and volume of the vials inside. These numbers up here are just the last activity. In this case, 2 fentanyls, 1 ketamine, and 3 Verseds were transferred into this box, so that's why it's showing the last activity, and it was done by me. If you go ahead and you administer, it's going to show used, removed, and then it's going to state which narcotic was used and by who. So this name could change, this could change, but what's here is what's in the actual narcotics safe box. Now on the left hand side, you have your options. You have 2 options as an officer. You have your controlled substance exchanged and your used and removed. So for morning exchanges between officers, we're going to go ahead and use the controlled substance exchange. We're going to go ahead and pick, in this case, we'll do Rescue 19. And now both officers are going to be present in the office. They're going to go ahead and have the narcotics box. The oncoming officer is going to verify that the count is 624. They're going to open the box. They're going to visually inspect it, and they're going to begin their check. So for Rescue 19, we have 624. And now the system is going to say, okay, now let's individually check the vials. These are pretend numbers. You have fentanyl F140, and you go ahead and you check each vial to make sure you have the right vial control number. Same thing with your ketamines. And same thing with your Versed. Once you verified everything, you hit continue. Now the system is going to say, go ahead and add your PIN. And the other outgoing officer is going to go ahead and put in his PIN. And we go ahead and we hit verify so we can sign. And we hit finish. Now the system recognizes that the person here has done a controlled substance exchange, and they verify that the box contains these narcotics. Okay, so now this system in PS Trax, if you want to compare it to Operative IQ, it's the same thing as pickup from crew, always. So in case there's an officer that gets an early 7:30 call, or they're unable to do this portion of it, once they get back to the station, they can go ahead and do their controlled substance exchange verification. You go ahead and hit 624. Go ahead and verify everything. Nothing changes. Still counting everything when you get back to the station. The outgoing officer already left the station. You come back from your call, and now you go ahead and you verify the narcotics. The witness can be anybody from your station. Preferably, if you're doing a pickup from crew equivalent, try to pick an officer, if not somebody from your truck. And that's why it's important for everybody to have their pins. Go ahead, we'll pick another person. For example, we'll have Park DMV as his truck. And now you can still go ahead and check the box even though the outgoing officer is no longer in the station. Now the situation comes up that you are checking out the box. We'll do engine 19 for this example. But now the count for engine 19 is 223 from the outgoing officer. The oncoming officer visualizes the box, and now there is a fentanyl missing. So the officer is going to go ahead and begin the check. Since there's a fentanyl missing, you can't find it. We have to go ahead and document that the box is not at what the last check was. So we're going to go ahead and put 1 fentanyl. The ketamine's correct, and the Versed is correct. Just that 1 fentanyl went down by 1. So now the system says, hey, did you miscount the vials? You can always return by clicking return to the previous form, or now we're going to go ahead and create an alert, which in Operative IQ equivalent is an IR, an incident report. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and click here. The system creates this pre-filled message. 1 vial of fentanyl are present, but the log shows that there were 2. So in your comment section, you can put the vial information, the vial number, the lot number, the expiration of which vial is missing, and what happened in the morning. Whether it was that it was misplaced, you can't find it, whatever the situation is, it sets an alert for the recipients, and you go ahead and you hit set alert. And then follow procedure, advise your officer. If you're a lieutenant or a captain, now you have to go to the battalion chief, and now we go ahead and we use the procedure for a missing narcotic. So that's how you go ahead and you document if there's something, a discrepancy with the count of a narcotic in the system. Next, we're gonna go ahead and go over used and removed. We'll use Rescue 19 as an example. We'll go ahead and hit begin check. Officers have two options, administered and broken. Administered if you use it during a call. Broken if, for example, during in the morning when you're transferring the drugs, for some reason the valve falls, it breaks, anything could happen. If the cap is off, leave it in the box, send me an email, and I'll come and we'll replace that one. But broken only if the vial is actually broken. In this case, we're gonna do the example of administered. We're gonna do 1 fentanyl. We're gonna go ahead and leave the other ones blank. It tells you input total number of vials removed from stock, enter whole numbers only, and leave blank if 0. Hit continue. Now it's gonna ask you which vial did you pull. So make sure you're selecting the correct vial. You type in your incident number. And unlike Operative IQ, which breaks it down by individual doses and waste, PS Trax is just total quantity administered in the units. In this case, we know that fentanyl, the total micrograms is 100. So if you use the 100, the complete vial, you know you wasted 0. If you used only half a dose, then you know your wasted is 50. So just make sure your math adds up to the total quantity inside the vial and double check. The system will not kick back if you add an extra 0. So if you do make a mistake, please send me an email, the EMS captain, and we can go ahead and log in and just make the changes if it's verified. But always double check your math, always double check your numbers, double check which vial you're selecting, and making sure your incident number is the correct one. And you can add a comment if you want regarding the call. You input your PIN number, you hit verify, you sign. And again, that's why it's important for everybody to have a PIN. You have somebody in your truck witness that it was administered completely or administered and wasted. And you log the event. Again, it's going to ask you, we're about to remove this file. Click yes to confirm. You can always scroll up and just, again, double, triple check yourself, everything's correct, and then hit the yes button. Now the system's going to remove that 1 fentanyl from your total count. So again, this is the last activity. You removed it from your narcotics count. So now you have 5, 2, 4. And that completes the controlled substance portion of PS Trax. Any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to the EMS department